Okay, so now we are officially into week 2 of um, information technologies and trends, and we are going to be working on Excel today. It is 6:03 p.m. on the 3rd of, what is it, October 2022. Does anyone have any questions or concerns about the last assignment? Anything we need to kind of pick up on there? I see Autumn and Joyce said no. About Stacy, Victor, or Belinda? All right, so we will just move forward now. On this week 2, I did not realize that all my logos were messed up. I will fix those. Oh, it's Puppy. No worries, Belinda. You're good. Just whatever you need to do. So here, there's a couple of different ways to do this. We're going to go under modules today, because under modules you will see week 2. There we go. There's the assignment, but also here, if you look under here with this little paper clip, are the Excel spreadsheet you're going to need to download. I've already done that, of course, but it should be once you click on it, hit it again, it'll download, and if you can see down here, that's where it's at. So which one did I just do? That was modifying cells. All right. So on assignment, if I click here, it's going to take me here on assignment 2-1. These have little short videos. So let's kind of watch them together, move through them, and then I'm going to go ahead and show you how to handle each one of these assignments for the rest of the week. Make sure I'm still sharing my sound, sharing my screen, and play.
Goodwill Community Foundation, creating opportunities for a better life.
In Excel, every workbook is different. That means you may want to modify certain things, like the size and layout of your cell, to better fit the data you're working with. This column has been resized, for example, but not quite enough. Most of the text is still getting cut off. I'm going to increase the width a little bit more by positioning my mouse over the line in the column heading, then clicking and dragging it to the right. Another option is to auto-size the column. This will automatically adjust the width so that it fits the contents of the cells exactly. Just double-click the line instead of dragging it. Now the column is perfectly sized to the text. Rows work the same way. You can adjust them manually or auto-size them to fit the height of your text. Sometimes it's useful to be able to resize all of your cells at once. In this example, I'd like to make all of my rows the exact same height. To do this, click the Select All button in the top left corner. Then resize a row, it doesn't matter which one, and the change will be applied to the entire worksheet. Next, I need to add another row to this list. I'd like to put it in between row 4 and row 5. To add a new row, all you have to do is select the row heading below where you want the new one to appear. Then click the Insert command. The process is similar for inserting a new column. Just select the column heading to the right of where you want the new one to go. Click the Insert command, and a column will appear to the left. Deleting columns and rows is just as easy. First, select the column or row you want to delete, then click the Delete command. The column or row will be deleted, causing the other cells to move and fill in the gap automatically. Just remember that there's a difference between clearing and deleting. Deleting cells removes them from your worksheet. Clearing just removes the contents. You can also move a column or row to a different location. In this example, we'll move a column. All you have to do is select the one you want, then click the Cut command. Next, select the column to the right of where you want the column to be moved. Click the Insert drop-down menu on the ribbon, then choose Insert Cut Cells. Another useful technique for rearranging data is the ability to hide certain columns or rows. For example, I don't really need to see these 3 columns right now. I'd rather focus on the customer's email addresses. If we right-click, then choose Hide from the menu, the columns temporarily disappear. To unhide them, select the columns on either side of the ones that are hidden, then right-click again, and choose Unhide. Let's fast forward to the finished worksheet. Next, I'd like to take a look at wrapping text, which is one way of addressing cells that contain more text than they can actually display. For example, I'd like to resize my column of addresses to about half its current size, but still be able to see the contents. We can do this using the wrap text command on the ribbon. As you can see, this displays the text on multiple lines. Now for the finishing touch, combining the cells in the top row so the title of my worksheet can be centered in a single large cell. To do this, select the cells you want to merge, then click the Merge and Center command. There, that's perfect. To access more merge options, open the drop-down menu here. You can merge across, creating merged rows instead of a single large cell if you have multiple cells selected. You can also merge without centering, or split your cells up again. There is a downside to using the merge command, though. If you want to merge multiple cells, each containing data, merge will only keep the contents of the upper left cell and discard everything else. So you should be careful when using this feature. The best way to learn about merging cells, wrapping text, and working with columns and rows is to practice. So the next time you're using Excel, look for ways that you can customize your worksheet to better fit your data.
Okay. So it says for this assignment, download the provided Excel worksheet, watch the video and follow the instructions, and submit your worksheet. Now, I believe this is the one, right? So I'm going to open it up for you guys. All right, so this is pretty much what you just saw. Now I want to show you guys a couple of other things. Well, doggone it. Oh. Now, I think she told you if you want to adjust the width and height of every cell, you could just go over here in the corner, double click any of these in between. Doesn't matter. When you see that little cross, do that and it'll do all of them. Same thing down here. It doesn't even matter where you put them. Okay, so that's easy peasy. And I'm sure a lot of you have already worked in Excel, so this is pretty remedial stuff. She also remind me, because I was did she say anything about centering this top row here? Yeah. Okay, so yep, that's just go up here and center it. Now, some of the stuff she had you guys do, do this here. Let's go ahead and merge and center that. And then we can go back to each one of these and make sure it's the proper width. Yeah, many of the things she had you guys do, like cutting and pasting. Let me go back and unmerge this for just a moment. Okay, you can do it a couple of different ways, you know, or inserting as well. And I believe that's actually what I want to talk about. If I select this one and right click, you also see there's an insert as well. There's a delete. Do the same thing here. Insert, delete. All right, so that's all pretty handy dandy stuff. The other thing here, go back and redo this merge and center. was, if you notice, she went ahead and she kind of had it where she's like, okay, let's do it about halfway and then wrap the text. But you can go ahead and choose all of these at one time, only some of them, depends on how you want to do it. We choose all these here. And many times, if you know you're going to be adding stuff and you want to wrap it, you can choose the whole column, and that takes you down. That chooses down forever, ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And then we can wrap the text. Nope, don't want to do that because I want to wrap the other stuff. So let's just grab it, highlight it, and wrap the text. And once that's done, you see there was a little movement, didn't much do much of anything. You can go in here and start there we go. See how you couldn't see it until I went ahead and widened these rows. Now, and then once you get here, you can wrap it however you want. What do you want showing in the wrap? Looks like what she did was just like this. Pretty easy stuff, right, guys? For your remedial? Okay. Are we happy with what we show here? Any questions? Anything? All right. And also remember, if you want to, some of the shortcut keys, which I was a finance major, so the shortcut keys kind of became my bread and butter. So what I do is I move up here, and if I want to just highlight everything on that column, I'll hit Control Shift in the down, and it'll take it down to the very last line for us. And then if I want to copy it, that's a Control C. And then I can just go over here wherever I want, and the paste is Control V. Then go back and do that. So I'm gonna delete it. And the same thing, Control Shift down, it just takes up that whole one. And if you hit Control Shift down again, it takes it off into, Foreverland. And if you do that, Control Shift back up, and it'll take you where you need to go. So Control Shift down, and if you want to cut it instead of copying it, that's Control X. Move over, Control V in, you'll cut that out and just move it over. And one thing we haven't discussed, which everybody should probably know this as well, if you think you messed something up, there's your undos. So I can just hit that until I get to where I want it. And if I say, oh, I went too far, I can redo it as well. So I have undo and redo. So that one should be pretty easy. That video is pretty good, just showing you exactly what she wants. So that should not be a problem. So once again, no questions, right? All right, awesome. How bored are you, Joyce? Okay, and I'm not going to save my changes, but you will save the, oh, actually, let me save the changes here just for the heck of it. And if I pull up Excel again, the last thing I did will be right here in my read, so I can pull it right back up the save version. And let me see, where does that thing save it at? Save as, it is saving. In my downloads. Okay. So when we go back over here, I can just upload that to our to here. I'm going to go find my downloads. is going to be right here. I'm going to move it to the other screen, or actually I can do this and that. Okay. So here we go. I will grab it, drag it on over. You'll see it uploaded, submit, and then I'll have it. All good. Like I said, nothing new for anybody, but make sure we cover all the bases so nobody's in doubt. And you can see what we downloaded, what we uploaded here. All right, now the next one is going to be assignment 2.2, and this is formatting cells and numbers. This one is pretty handy as well. We'll watch, like I said, watch the videos. One of them is, I don't know how long they are, but there's not very much here.
Goodwill Community Foundation, creating opportunities for a better life.
The look and feel of your workbook has a lot to do with the formatting choices you make. For example, let's add some formatting to this fitness chart. That'll make it easier to read and more visually appealing. We'll start by selecting the cell that contains Fitness Progress Chart and making the text bigger. In the Font group on the Home tab, locate the font size box. You can either type in the exact font size you want, or click the drop-down arrow to select a size. And you'll see a preview of the results as you go down the list. I think 24 looks good. Maybe we could go a little bigger though. Increase and decrease are two other options for quickly changing the size of your text. All you have to do is click the command and there we go. To change the actual font, click the drop-down arrow here. Then make your way down the list, and you'll get that live preview again. I think I'll go with this one. It's different, but it's still very easy to read, which makes it a good choice for a title. So, how about some color? To view your options, click the arrow next to the font color command. You can choose one of the theme colors here, or if you don't see anything you like, go ahead and select More Colors. This bright pink should look pretty good with the color scheme I have in mind. Another way to make your text stand out is to use bold, italic, and underlining. Bold should be a good choice in this example. Now the text really stands out and it's much easier to read. I think I'm ready to add some formatting to the rest of the worksheet. At a glance, it's kind of hard to tell the header row from the rest of the chart because it just isn't very distinct. We can easily fix that by giving the cells a unique fill color. All you have to do is open the menu next to the fill color command and make your choice. Dark gray should be a nice contrast to the pink we already used. Now I just need to change the color of this text to something lighter. You can also use cell styles to quickly apply different formatting in your workbook. Let's give it a try on the rest of our data here. When you're ready, click the Cell Styles command, then mouse over the styles for a preview, and click the one you want. At this point, you probably notice that adding a fill color to a cell range causes the line in between the cells to disappear. I'd like to change that by adding in some cell borders. Click the drop-down arrow next to the border commands, and you'll find a lot of different options. For example, you can add a top and bottom border, a thick outside border, and even different line colors and styles. For a border that goes all the way outside and in between the cells, choose all borders. Okay, one last thing I'd like to show you is how to change the placement or alignment of your text using the options in the alignment group. In addition to left, center, and right, text can also be aligned to the bottom, middle, or top of the cell. Aligning the text to the middle center should make this data really nice and easy to read. There we go. See what a big difference formatting can make? Not only does my spreadsheet look better than it did before, it's also easier to review the data.
Goodwill Community Foundation. Goodwill Community Foundation, creating opportunities for a better life.
You may have already noticed that Excel allows you to type just about anything into your worksheet. Along with text, you can use many different kinds of numbers, such as decimals, percentages, dollar amounts, dates, and more. To do this, Excel uses a feature called number formats, and it's really important to understand how they work. Number formats tell Excel exactly what type of data you're using. When you enter something into a cell, Excel will try to apply the right number format automatically. For example, watch what happens when we enter a calendar date into this cell, such as 1/1/2015 for January 1st. If you look at the number format drop-down menu on the Home tab, you'll see that this cell is now using the date number format. This tells Excel that we're working with a calendar date and not another type of number. If you click the drop-down menu, you'll see that there are several other number formats to choose from. The general format at the top is the default number format for every cell in your spreadsheet. When Excel isn't able to guess what type of data you're using, it'll usually just leave the general number format applied to that cell. You know, in this example, I think I'd like to modify the number format to use the long date option instead. That way, it'll be easier to read in our spreadsheet. And there we go. When you select a cell with number formatting, you'll see the actual value of that cell in the formula bar. So the long date number format hasn't changed the actual data in our cell, it only changes the way it's displayed. And number formats don't just make our data easier to read. For example, since Excel understands that this is a calendar date, we can use the fill handle in the lower right corner of the cell to continue this series of dates. So now we have January 2nd, January 3rd, and so on. Definitely a lot easier than entering each of these one by one. Unfortunately, Excel doesn't always understand what we're trying to type the same way that a person would. And because of this, Excel requires you to enter your data in a pretty specific way. For example, watch what happens when we type January 1st in this cell. As you can see, the number format has not changed. This cell is still just using the general number format, and that means Excel didn't understand what we wanted. It also means our fill handle isn't going to work correctly. Instead, it just copies the data from this first cell, which isn't what we want. To fix this, we'll need to change this value to something Excel can understand, such as 1/1/2015, or just January 1 without the ST. There we go. So you can see that Excel has applied a custom date format to this cell. And that's because it understood what we wanted. And now, just like before, we can see the cell's actual value in the formula bar. And we can even use the fill handle to continue this series of dates. Let's take a look at another useful but potentially confusing number format, percentages. Remember how we said before that certain data needs to be entered in a certain way? Well, when you type a number followed by the percent sign and press enter, the percentage number format will be applied automatically to that cell. In this example, let's say that we're working with an 8% sales tax rate. Now, as you may remember from math class, percentages can also be written as a decimal number. For example, if I change the number format for this cell back to general, it'll appear as 0.08, which is just another way of writing 8%. I point this out mainly because it's easy to make a mistake with percentage formatting if you're not being careful. For example, if we type 8 into an empty cell and then apply percentage formatting afterward, Excel will think that we meant 800%, which isn't even close to what we wanted. In our experience, it's best just to include the percent sign whenever you're entering a percentage into Excel. That way there's much less risk of making a mistake like this. Okay, there's just one last thing we'd like to point out. Below the number format drop-down menu, you'll see these small buttons with a left and right arrow. These commands allow you to control how many decimal places are displayed in your cell. As an example, let's say I'm working with a currency value like $19.95. Now, as you can see, Excel automatically applied currency formatting when we included the dollar sign in this cell. Now you can show more decimal places to increase precision, or show fewer to simplify your data, or even round it to the nearest whole number. Just like before, we're not changing the actual value of this cell, as we can see in the formula bar. We're just making it easier to read in our spreadsheet. Now that you know how number formats work, take some time to ensure that you're using them correctly in your spreadsheet.
All right, so easy peasy. Still, if you ever worked in Excel, that's something that's probably not a real leap for you here. So let's look at the one for week 2. We'll download this. Enable editing. Don't make the mistake of trying to edit it without that. So another way to do some formatting, besides what they show you, is also you can right click on it and you can go to format cells. All right, and that gives you all sorts of stuff, like all your font stuff is right over here. And I believe he bolded that. It was, I don't remember what it was, 28, 26. It doesn't matter. You guys will know when you go back to do it again. And then there was a pink color, which he went over here. I do remember this. He grabbed it from right here, I believe. And once you do all that, once you hit OK, it'll happen. And so, and then once again, we can center this, take it left, take it right, do whatever we want to. He also picked, and I don't remember last time which one he picked, but it was one of these styles here. Remember which one he picked?
It was the first column, the second one down.
All right. See, so let's go back here. It was first column, second one down, 40%. Okay.
Yeah.
And then he went through here and did this as well. Now there's another cool thing you could do here, which he didn't point it out, which is called the format painter. Okay. I don't know if anybody's ever used that, but I can pick, like if I have a cell I've already formatted and I want to format more of them like that, I highlight it, I hit format painter, you see the little dotted line circling around it. And then whatever, just for one time, would highlight, when I let go of my left mouse button, it kind of copied whatever the format was. And this one, I believe, was gray. Did he choose it from here? Or did he choose it from, okay, I believe he chose it from here. And then wanted to make everything in here lighter, so he went here and made it white. Okay, so just some of the things. Let's go ahead and the paint format is the format painter is kind of cool because I can format this one. Now, here's something you guys need to know, which is, even though you move these decimals and it says 104, if you look here, Excel still sees 103. So if you're using some kind of formula in here, multiplication, addition, subtraction, realize that even though you see 104, Excel actually sees it up to 9 digits, I believe. I believe it's 9 digits. Maybe it's more now. It used to be only 9 digits past the decimal point. So it's actually going to use this number it knows. It's not going to use the one you see. And I can do that. Let's see if I just want to add, and I'll do this. We'll go over this here in a minute because we're going to have equations. I want to add 100, but see, so, and basically what this is doing the rounding for you. So if you have a problem with the rounding, Excel helps as well. Get clear contents, heck, you know, or I just go back, get rid of everything I did there. Now, if I wanted it like this, I could hit the format painter and then just grab all my numbers and would take it to, you know, 0 decimal points. Same thing here, format painter, boom, take it back to where it was. Now, another cool thing, and like I said, we'll do this, we'll see some formulas here in a little bit. But if you have a date, if you remember, I'm gonna Control C that, I'll bring it over here. Okay. And you want to know, and this will be in partially in our business math, and you want to know what 115 days is past the 5-3. I do my, and this they'll show you in the next film. If you want, when you type into these cells, it's going to be whatever you type into it. If you wanted to do a calculation, some sort of formula, you have to tell it what follows as a formula. Most people tell you to hit the equal sign. That's just exactly right. So that tells Excel what's coming after is a mathematical formula, and you want it to do the operation. If you're a 10 key person and you've been around quite a bit, I just hit the plus. Does the same thing for you. And then I am going to go up here and choose that plus 115 days. And that tells me May 3rd, 2013, add 115 days to it. That's August 26, 2013. So that makes life a lot easier on some level. And then percentages. And like he said, where's my, I can change that to percentages here. I can also do it here. And if I want to change it back, I can use this decimal here. And then move this however I want it. And once again, I can right click, format cells. All right. And under the number tab here, I can make it into a whole lot of stuff. I can customize it. I can do also, I can make date, time. But once again, we want percentages. I can adjust how many decimal places. Hit OK. Boom. No muss, no fuss. Okay, so any questions on this, how to format these cells? And one of the good things is you can always right click and go to format, English is hard, format cells, and you can do the alignment. Grab this here, then hit format cells. And then like on my alignment here, I can do that. Make it look all sorts of weird, right? And then once again, I can always go backwards and forwards with my undo and redo. The most, I think those are the most used ones, used buttons I have, because I am prone to mistakes. Oh, what else he also said you can center these as well. Now, if you're kind of a weirdo like me, if everything's not lined up, it bugs the holy bejeebus out of me. So I'll highlight all those and I'll take them to the same decimal places. So it all kind of lines up for me, makes my OCD a little bit better. So I think that about covers it. I know he said also, well, I said about covers it, and then I find something else I want to show you. Do you notice how he took it and put a date? Okay, we changed the format of that. To long date, however you want it. And you grab it, and it goes ahead and does all that for you. Now, if you want to count that, if you want like a counting like you're going to do, row 1, row 2, 1, 3, 1, row 4. And also remember our insert. Okay, and I want to number these. Now, depending on how many you have, it's just not efficient. I usually do 3 because that's just where I'm comfortable. So I do 1, 2, 3, and I highlight this here. Then I reach grab it. And there we go. It'll just fill it up for you. So, because if I remember right, and many times I don't, just have 1 there. It's just going to copy all the 1s. Yeah, you can do just 2 here. And because you need to show it a pattern many times. Otherwise, it's just going to think you just want to copy that cell over and over and over again. And then look, I just keep hitting my undo until I get back where I need to go. And once again, I'm going to save it. And then when I want to upload it. Oh, I'm in the wrong assignment, aren't I? There we go. And when I want to submit it, you can just upload it to me. Where's that? Formatting cells. Drag it over. You'll see it'll upload here. Submit assignment. Boom, we're done with that one. And there's a big celebration of confetti and everybody's happy. All right, now finally, and then it shows you an example of what you uploaded. Let's go to assignment 2-3. This is the introduction to formulas. There are so many formulas in Excel. I'll show you when we get back on it. But there's so many. You can do so many things, and we'll have a few minutes. And I'll show you some of the really cool stuff you can do. If I hurry up and stop talking and turn on the video.
Goodwill Community Foundation, creating opportunities for a better life.
Remember using formulas to calculate math problems in school, like 2 + 2 = 4, or 2 pizzas times $10 equals $20? You can use these same formulas to work with numerical data in your spreadsheets, just like you would use a calculator. Excel uses standard operators for math equations, like a plus sign for addition, a minus sign for subtraction, an asterisk for multiplication, a forward slash for division, and a caret for exponents. You're probably used to seeing equations like 5 plus 5 equals, but in Excel, the equal sign comes first. That's because the cell itself contains, or is equal to, the formula and its value. Let's start off with a simple addition formula. We're going to calculate the total budget for June and July. However, instead of entering these numbers, in other words 1200 plus 1500, we're going to use cell references. Here's how it works. First, select the cell where you want the total to appear. Then type an equal sign, which is how you always start a formula. Next, type the addresses of the cells you want to add. In this example, D10 plus D11. Notice how the cells you've entered are actually highlighted in your worksheet, so you can easily confirm the contents of your formula. When you're ready, press Enter on your keyboard, and Excel will display the answer. Now, you may be wondering why we used cell references instead of numbers. It's because they give you the ability to change your original values without having to retype your formula. Excel automatically recalculates the answer, so it's always up to date. For that reason, you should try to use cell references whenever you can. To edit your formula, all you have to do is double-click the cell. If you make a mistake or change your mind, you can press Escape on your keyboard, and it'll go back to the way it was. Let's try another example, this time with multiplication. I want to calculate the total price for plastic silverware, so I'll need to multiply B4 by C4. Once again, start by typing an equal sign. But instead of entering the addresses manually, we're going to use something called the point and click method. Just click the cell you want, and the address instantly appears in your formula. Most people find this much easier than typing out the cell addresses by hand. When you're done, press Enter, and the answer appears. Finally, I want to show you a quick way to add a formula to several cells at once, specifically these 3 cells. Instead of retyping the formula above, we're just going to select the first cell, then locate the fill handle in the bottom right corner. Click and drag the handle down, and when you let go, the formula appears automatically in all 3 cells. Now we can see the total cost for each item. This is a great shortcut for duplicating formulas if you plan to use the same one more than once. Formulas really are one of the most powerful and convenient features in Excel. Now that you know how to use them, they can help you calculate all kinds of useful data.
All right, so that was, like I said, the easy basic thing we're going to do here. Where are we at? We are 14 minutes left. Go to my modules. Number 3, week 2, 2, 3, budget spreadsheet. Download that. Now there's a couple of cool things here. I don't know if anybody ever uses it. You can click this arrow, open, always open this time file, show in folders, one I use a lot as well. So it actually takes me in the folder. So I can kind of tell where I downloaded it to and where it's at. Sometimes I forget where I put stuff. I double click that, get out of here. That doesn't look like the budgeting spreadsheet, does it? Again, we just go through here. Those right. Let's look at the directions for it then and make sure. This time I'll go underneath assignments and assignment 2-3. Okay, use provide Excel spreadsheet, format the cells and calculate total expenses and income. Once completed, calculate the income amount after the expenses are taken out. And I did grab it from the right spot, right? Right click, open new tab. been a while since I looked at this. That's a budget spreadsheet. Okay. Let's work with what we have then. I think what they're looking for you is, what he's looking for is you to put your stuff in here. And so how much do we pay for rent these days? I just saw a small house here in Okmulgee, a nice enough house, but a small house, because I saw it on Facebook as a friend of mine renting it. $950 a month. A little brutal. Renter's insurance. Okay. Lot rent, other pest control. 3-bedroom for $995. Wow. Hopefully you have lots of roommates or deep pockets. She said, neither one. Okay. Yard care on this. Just your fiance, huh? No kids? Okay, so as you go through here, you can fill all this in as we go. Now, I may have to do another video maybe at the end or sometime this week. $1,550 for 4 beds, 6 people. Good gosh almighty. You know, I remember a long time ago when I got an apartment in Dallas right next to Garland, or off 635 there, and it was a 1-bedroom small apartment. But it was actual 1-bedroom. I think I was only paying like $400 a month for it. So yeah, rent has really got a hand. With bills, 1,200. Wow, that is just brutal. I think I'm just gonna move into my car if I have to rent. I'm gonna move into a tent. Wow. But some of the cool stuff I want to show you guys now. Some of the things I don't show you here is wow, I can't get over that. Down here, I can bring up another sheet so you have different tabs, and you can do it a number of ways. I can grab everything. Another cool thing you can do, if you grab everything, that's everything forever, and hit Control C to copy it, then I go right up here, Control V, and just redo the whole sheet. I do that sometimes when I have a sheet like this set up and I want to kind of keep the original, I'll go make another one. Also, you can reference information in another sheet as well. So once again, they say hit equals. I always hit plus just because I'm a 10 key guy. And then once I hit plus, I go to the next sheet and I say, okay, I want that cell to look just like this one. Okay, it's not going to bring over your formatting, your colors, or anything like that. And then, since this is technically a formula, all right. And so I copied everything. Well, I copied too much, didn't I? And what a lot of times you'll use this for, if you have numbers in one sheet and you want to bring it over. I remember one of my final projects when I was going through my my finance classes was, I bet we had 15 different tabs on the bottom in here, and they all referenced each other, and it ended up in one tab, and you had to get the numbers right. So you had all this different stuff, and it was going from tab to tab to tab to tab. It was just a mess, and it was one of those things. It took the entire semester. It took us like 3 months to do and finish. I can also do this. I can delete it. Now, some of the cool formulas. There you go. Anybody, we all go buy a car, right? Okay. So let's do a simple payment on how to figure out, and this is going to approximate what like a car or a mortgage payment can be if you know how much the you're going to pay for it, the term, the length of the term, and the interest rate. Okay. And I'm just going to go ahead and say, here's the price. I'm just going to label them. Down payment. What I say, term, and then your interest rate. Now we can go ahead and say, we know that this and this are going to be dollars, right? No, my interest rate is going to be a percentage, and the term should just be a number. Okay. So, and I can do these anyway. I can bold them. I can make them a little bigger. I'll do that. And I can scooch them all over to the right. Okay, all this doesn't matter. Has anybody bought a car lately? If you have, give me the price of a car or a dream car, or a car you're looking to buy. Just give me a price here. $36,000. You know, that doesn't buy as much as it used to. So I'll type in 36 here, 36,000, already turns it into money. Now the down payment can be a percentage or it can be a number. What do we want it? We wanted a percentage or a number? Say percentage or percent. Okay, so if I want to be a percentage of this, well, we're going to talk about 10% maybe. So I'll do 0.10. That turned it into money, but I can go back and turn this into a percentage. And when I do something like this, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and have it calculate what that down payment will be for me. So I'll hit my plus button, take my 36,000 times my percentage, and that'll give me in dollars what it is. 5 or 6 year term, guys. 5. Now this is going to get you close. Some of the things that we don't take into account here are, do they figure interest at first or the end of the month? Is your payment, you know, when is your payment considered? You know, when do they add the interest on? So this will get us close. And the reason we use this, the reason I use this a lot of times is I like to take my tablet in and mess with car dealerships because you always know they're going to mess with you. All right, so I do want to double check their numbers. And we also know that a 5-year term plus 5 times 12 is 60 months, right? Now, our interest rate, give me an interest rate, guys. 3%. Oh, 2.25, whichever one you want. Okay. And once again, 0.025. Oh, yep. Notice it says 3, but it sees 2.5. If we want to see 2.5, we got to move it over. 2.25. Sorry. Let's again move it over 1. Now, one of the things we need to know is that's a year, your interest rate is always going to be a yearly interest rate, right, guys? So monthly, that'll be that interest rate divided by 12. Once again, turn to percentage. Go out as far as you think you feel you need to. But don't worry, pause. Excel sees what the actual number is. Okay. Now, my payment, I'm going to figure that up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to where it says a function of X, which tells me it's a formula. And then you have so many here. Most recently used, financial, date and time, math and trig, all these. Engineering. So I'm going to use the payment one. That brings it up here. Our interest rate, we need to figure it by the month. So I'm just going to go over here and tell it it's that. Now, what I could have also done is said it's that divided by 12. Either one work. Oh, didn't mean to hit enter. Try this again. All right. Number of payments, 60. Present value is what you're going to be your purchase price is at. Now, our purchase price is our price minus our down payment. And these, since they're not in bold, you really don't have to put them in, but we want our future value. We want our end result to be 0 at the end of those 60 months. And then type is, it'll tell you down here, it should tell us down here, is type is a logical value payment at the beginning of the period or payment at the end of the period. Okay, we're going to say payment at the beginning of the period. If you don't put anything, I believe that's what it defaults to. Hit OK, and there you have it. Your payment is going to be approximately $570.38. Okay, it's going to be close. It depends. Now, the cool part here is if I decide to say, well, that seems a little high, I want to finance for 6 years, I just go change this and it changes everything for me. Everything happens. Same thing, they're like, well, we couldn't give you 2.25, we had to give you 3.5%. All right, and notice something here. Our price we put in as a positive number. Okay, our payment is a negative number. That's what that red means with the parentheses. It means negative number. Now, basically what it's telling you is the price is you're actually borrowing money, right? And so that's net money into you. Even though you're not getting the cash, you may be getting the automobile, which is value, but that is something that's an asset that's a value to you, so it's a positive. The payment's in negative because it's something coming out of your pocket, right? So they're going to say, okay, this is coming out of your pocket, it's a negative. If you don't like that negative number, we can do that. And if you want to know how much you're going to pay for over the life of the loan, I'm going to plus that payment times here, turn that into money. And so the entire, doesn't seem right, does it? I don't know if I messed something up or not. All right, so press again. Be our payment times, oh yeah, we did it right. Because, all right, that's 35,863 is how much we're paying over the loan. What I did take into account was it's down payment. So if you add these two up, and there's also this cool thing called auto sum. In total, with the down payment, interest rate, interest and everything else over the life alone, for a $36,000 car, you're going to pay $39,463 for it. And that's at a 3.5% interest rate. I think I got 6% on my last one. See how the interest rate makes a huge difference? 0% down will make a huge difference. 5 years will make a difference. And so we just go in there and redo that. All right, sorry I took up you guys' time a little extra. It's 7:02. I'm going to officially stop the recording, and then if anybody needs to stick back and ask any questions, we can do that. Stop recording. There we go.